Hello and welcome to the latest from Hearts Standard. My name is Joel Sked, and once again I am joined by my colleague James Kearney. How's it going, James?
Yeah, very well, thanks. How you getting on?
Yes, not too bad. A wee bit tired.
Mm.
Stayed out late after the Hearts Standard live event last night. Uh,
Ah,
I was walking up Princes Street with a Taco Bell about the back of one. So
oh, that's
yeah,
not good.
wasn't hungover. I just could have done with an extra couple of hours of good
Mm.
sleep.
Well,
Mm.
Joe, serves you right.
Yes, it does. It does. I'm a 35-year-old man with no discipline when it comes to when it comes to lager. Did you enjoy yourself last night?
Yeah, it was really good fun. It was nice. It
Yeah, it
was
was
a nice
good.
event. It was nice meeting people, chatting all things Hearts, and having a pint, having a pie, and looking ahead to the new season. So yeah, it was good fun. It was
Yeah,
good
it was
fun.
absolutely. Jim said it was a very good night. I'm glad you enjoyed yourself, Jim. I'm hoping that will be a regular thing over the season. That us and Big Hearts will join kind of forces to bring some live content. I've already reached out to Laurie at Scarce Around the Funnel. I think there's definitely something we could do there with a kind of kind of partnership, or to do an event with kind of hands across. I was going to hands across the divide, but it's not just hands across fellow Hearts fans.
Hands across the funnel.
Yeah, there you go. That's much better. So yeah, we will of course keep you updated on any kind of progress we get with events in the near future or further on in the season. We are here though to chat all things Heart of Midlothian 2024-25. We're going to preview the season. Sorry, I was too busy looking at my phone. We're about to preview the coming season, so we're going to have a kind of look, just in general how we're feeling about it. What kind of discuss what I think our best 11s would be. Absolutely impossible trying to do that, and then we'll finish with some predictions for the season ahead. And these kind of tie in to a couple of prediction articles that we're going to go have up on the site, whether it's going to be Thursday or Friday. Got myself, James involved, got Tom Irving involved, Craig Fowler, and Scott. So guys who have been contributing to the site, off and on, or the videos over the last year or so. So they'll be up over the next couple of days. But before then, I have a message from our sponsor, of course. Wait till I find it. Here it is. This episode is brought to you by our sponsors, MPH Boilers and Viessmann. MPH Boilers is a multi-award-winning family-run plumbing and heating company covering all of mainland Scotland, recently crowned Family Business of the Year at the 2024 Fife Business Awards. Partnering with Viessmann, a German-engineered, highly awarded boiler manufacturer, they make a perfect match for homes across Scotland. So if you are looking for a boiler or the ilk, do check out MPH Boilers and Viessmann. I believe they are based in the kingdom that is Fife. But we are here to talk about Heart of Midlothian, of course. Graham asks about the goalkeeper situation. I'll bring that up shortly, because we'll come to that. Firstly, how are you feeling about Hearts' upcoming season, James?
I think I'm feeling pretty positive about it. Maybe I'm feeling pretty optimistic. Again, maybe it's easier for me because at the end of the day, I've not got as much skin in the game as like yourself. But I think there's a lot of reasons to be really optimistic about it. Yeah, okay, there's pre-season results could have been better, but we know that their pre-seasons, like it's pre-season, it doesn't really matter come the end of all. It's just really getting up to speed. So I think when you look at the squad, I think in terms of there's also a couple of outgoings. 7 incoming so far, an 8 on the horizon as well. It looks a bit with Malachi Boateng. And I think that when you look at the quality of players that have come in, I think they do improve the team. I think the team is going to be pound for pound, man for man, it's going to be a better squad this season. So it's going to be a year further down the line than Naismith. So I think in terms of understanding exactly what he wants and how he wants to play, and maybe getting it a little bit more sophisticated as well. Like that's all stuff that just takes time. And then so I would think that Hearts will be. I'm going to stick my neck out. I'll say I think Hearts will improve from last season. I think come the end of it all, definitely a higher points tally at the very least.
Oh, higher points, because that's something that I probably touch on in the predictions. But I just wonder if I'm still confident going in the season about our chances. Still look at the squad, and I agree. I think as a squad, it's improved from a starting 11. I'm not too sure just yet, because you look at it, you've lost Alex Cochrane, And I think he could potentially get there, but we'll see. I think I don't think James Penrice is at the level of Alex Cochrane was, but that is we'll see how he handles the step up from Livingston to Hearts. So that's a question mark. And then on the flip side, speaking to people, the reading at the Tottenham friendly, I do think we've strengthened the right hand side of the defence. So that's almost balanced that out to an extent. And then has anyone come in and just instantly made the starting 11 better? You could argue around Dander, you could argue around Spittle. You've got Mackay coming back, but I just think the squad as a whole is better. And it's a mixture of excitement and intrigue for me for the season, just because of the European factor and how that will impact the season. Because you actually looked at him. We were discussing this last night. I think it was discussing it with Scott McIntosh, or spoke to quite a few people, so it might have been someone else. But you look at the schedule. If we finish and if we get into the Conference League, you've not got a game in. You play a couple of games in August, the playoff, and then your next one's not till September, and then the next one's not till October in Europe, and then I think you've basically got 2 games in October, 2 games in November, 2 games in December. So that period is going to be really, really tight. So excited and intrigued, I think is the way I would describe how I'm feeling.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And John, I think you did make a really good point about the fact that I think most people would agree that the squad looks to be in a better place. But I think you're right in terms of how many people that have come in slot straight into that starting 11. I mean, obviously we're going to talk about the strongest 11 later on, and it feels a bit unfair to do it at this point because it's so early. It's such a
yes, of course.
No one's even kicked a ball in a competitive game, but at the same time, looking at it, that was one thing that struck me when I was kind of putting together my strongest 11 was, there's not many new boys in here actually. So like, hopefully, I'd love to be wrong because you want to see the new players coming in and make an impact, but it seems to me to be a window where it's been more about beefing up the squad, make sure it's ready for the demands of domestic and European football, rather than going through it kind of position by position, going, okay, let's get an upgrade on what we've already got. So it'll be interesting to see for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I suppose that leads us on to the starting 11, the strongest squads. Jim says, I think we've got a stronger squad, but I don't think we've got a stronger 11. Graham, I'm looking forward to the season and trying to pick a starting 11 every week is impossible. Plenty of options to choose from, and if someone doesn't perform there, someone else can step in. So firstly, that's exactly what Naismith said after the Fleetwood game. Got loads of competition. There's no hiding place. If you're not doing it in training, if you're not doing games, there's someone there to replace you. That's healthy. That's encouraging. The second side of that, trying to pick do our predicted lineups from week to week is going to be absolutely impossible.
I mean, have you ever got one right?
No, I think I've maybe got 10 out of 11 a couple of times, but I don't actually think I've ever got the full compilation. I suppose I kind of wanted to touch on the goalkeeping situation because Graham does say, not sure I agree with Nacy not having a guaranteed number one, as I don't think chopping and changing is a good thing, but that's just my personal opinion. So I think Graham's alluding to the comments Naismith made when he spoke to Barry during the week, Barry Anderson during the week, and said that there's not like a definitive number one. I'm on the side of Graham here. I think it's something we talked about last night at the Heart Standard Live regarding the goalkeeper and we asked Andy Webster about it, was I just don't see. I don't know if it's just like looking old school or whatever. If just a goalkeeper, I think he's like kind of one of the positions where you just think you just want to have that guy that you can trust. And it's great at the moment where if that goalkeeper doesn't perform, then you've got someone, whether it's Xander Clark or Craig Gordon, to come in and replace him. But I agree with Graham that that's a wee slight concern for me, is if you're not knowing who's going to be the goalkeeper kind of from week to week, or how it's going to work.
I mean, it is a difficult situation in that, I don't think there's any other team I can think of, certainly one I can think of in Scotland, where there's so little difference between the first and second choice goalies in terms of their quality and how good they are, and because there's a very good argument for each of them that should both be playing. So I think it's a really difficult situation. But I do kind of agree yourself and with Graham. I think that it's better to have an established number one. It's better to have the guy that goes week in, week out, you're going to be playing. Just for little things on the pitch, I think it's important just to have that consistency. That relationship between the goalie and defence is really important, and I think that's something that develops through consistent selection. And I guess I just don't really know how it would work and keep both players happy, I suppose, because we've spoken in the past, and I don't think either of us agree that the idea that if a goalie makes a mistake, chucks in has a bad game, then you take him out the starting 11 in the next season. You can't need to stick with him no matter what. So it's like, okay, well, how bad would somebody's form have to be in order to drop out the team? How long would it have to go on for? And at that point, I really do like. I think particularly looking back to last season, I think it'll be a case of Clark will be starting pretty much most games, and then Gordon might be filling in here and there. And again, I don't know if I can't imagine Craig Gordon's the type of person that'd be particularly happy about that. But
no.
See, again, it's that way. I don't know. It is a bit of a headache now. I think last season it was maybe a little bit more straightforward, just because obviously Gordon was out for half a season. He gets back in. He very much has to get eased back in. And with the Euros coming up, there was, Naismith could kind of swap between them and go, well, I want to get them both in the squad for the Euros. Fair enough. This season, though, where it's like, okay, they're both coming into it full fitness, both coming into like wanting to play, wanting to start. No one's coming back from an injury or looking a bit shaky or anything. So it's going to be a really big call, but I think it's one that Naismith probably does have to make, I would think.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Liam L says Gordon to play Cup and Europe. That's if you're going to be chopping it, if you're going to be giving them both games, that's like the most sensible, or like you think the most straightforward thing, where you've got a league goalkeeper and then you've got a goalkeeper who's going to play in Europe, the Scottish Cup and the League Cup. Because potentially, if you do that, then whoever plays in Europe in the Cup games, you could potentially play, I don't know, 12, 13, 14 games in the season.
Yeah, I mean,
you'd want more, but
guaranteed straight off the bat. But I mean, it could work. But again, is that enough of a selling point to go? To say, right, you're going to play, again, particularly if it's going to be you're going to play a lot in the first half of the season. Second half, you might play 2 or 3 games. Like, do you fancy? It's a difficult sell.
It's a very difficult sell. So that's where you're thinking. I was of the view that I thought that Gordon was going to be number one this season, and then just the way summer's gone, and then just speaking to people, just like, okay, maybe it's going to be Xander Clark, and I think like Scott here said, it has to be Clark as number one. I think there's been a big change over Clark. I think it went back 6 months ago, people would be looking, maybe bring back Gordon into it. And obviously we've seen it at the Mirren game when Clark went down injured and folk were buzzing about Gordon, that there has been a bit more, probably a greater appreciation of what Clark has done while Gordon's been out. So yeah, would Clark's in your best, like your strongest 11 is your number one?
Yeah, I think he is. Yeah, I think I've opted for him over Gordon. I just think that, again, it's just we've only got a handful of games from Gordon from last season to go off of, whereas we've got basically a full season of stuff from Clark to go off of, and I can look at it and go, I think that Clark's delivered consistently, and he got. How many clean sheets did he get in the end last season? It's loads.
18, 19, 18, I think it was.
Okay, obviously the defence are all playing their part there as well. It's a collective achievement, but still, I thought he had a really good season, and I think that. I mean, that's the thing. I was going to say it'd be extremely harsh to drop him, but then it's also okay. Well, you've also got your club legend goalkeeper coming back, making a miraculous comeback again, and it's extremely harsh to drop him too. So, yeah, I think either way it's going to be extremely harsh, but I would go for Clark personally.
I don't envy Stephen Naismith in this scenario. So I still break it down as which goalkeeper would I want to win me or save me a game, and my answer is always Craig Gordon. Yeah. But with Xander Clark, and I think I'll bring in a couple of the comments on that. Kenny Fairbairn says, "Hi guys, spoke to Craig Gordon after Spurs game, said I felt for him missing Scottish squad. He replies, there's the next one," which I think that basically just tells you a lot about Gordon's mentality and he's not going to give. We've seen it with his message after the Scotland squad that he's never going to give up. Alexander Taylor says, no offence to Clark, but Gordon has to be number one. There's levels to the position, and Clark has never reached the levels Gordon was at before his leg break. I think that's a very fair point, and kind of goes back to what I was saying about who would want to win a game, who would want to save a game. So Gordon is for the summer has been like he's going to be my number one, and then when I was writing it down, I was like, no, I'm going to put Clark as number one, because you look at it as another thing comes into to play. We kind of talked about it last night with the ball at his feet. We've seen it. I think it was the late Orient game. The first pass Gordon did, he tried to clip it to Musa, drama, and it just went straight into the stands, nowhere near Musa. So I think there's probably that in it as well. If I was picking the Hearts 11, I'd probably go for Gordon, but I think it will be Clark. Now we've went around the houses there. Who, in terms of your best or what you view as the strongest 11 now? Like you said, there's caveats to it's just the start of the season. They've not got we've not played a competitive game. What would be your strongest 11, and what formation would you go for? Because obviously that comes into it as well, because they're so Naismith. We've seen Naismith likes to change depending on the situation, depending on the opponents.
Yeah, exactly. So I reckon the one I've got just now written down, that's a 4-3-3. Just because I think that's probably what we're going to see most of this season. I'm sure we'll see the back three at times, and I'm sure the shape of that midfield three will change. I think sometimes it'll be one guy sitting with two guys ahead. I think sometimes it'll be two guys sitting with a kind of number 10 in that playmaker role. But yeah, I've gone for a back four for the purposes of this. And so, I mean, straight off the bat, I find myself struggling with this because I was going to start at left back. I found myself a very difficult decision to make already, but I went for Stephen Kingsley in the end. I'm assuming have you gone for Penrice?
I can't remember. I was laughing at Liam L, a YouTube comment. So he's put up his 11, which I'll read out in shortly, and then he just replied again. For now, anyway, it will change in 3 minutes, and that's probably the best way to put it, because
yeah, exactly.
You change it all the time.
Like from a back four, I've went for Kingsley at left back, then at centre half, Kent, Oyegoki, and Taylor. At right back, so that's the back four I've went for. So the other option as well would be, of course, maybe Oyegoki drops out, Kingsley shifts over to centre half, then there's room for Penrice or somebody like that. But I think that's probably on four the strongest back four that Hearts have from a defensive perspective. I think it looks really solid. I think the only issue I'd say is maybe, depending on the opponent, Kingsley's maybe not got quite the same amount of mobility as somebody like Penrice. Yeah. But again, in that instance, you could maybe move him in, take Oyegoki out or whatever. But I think Kingsley's definitely got to be in there somewhere for me. And I think Kent's definitely got to be in there somewhere. Taylor's definitely got to be in there. The other one spot, I'm willing to listen. I'm willing to talk.
Yeah, because I think we said it was the Spurs game that the back four of like Taylor, Oyegoki, Kent, and Kingsley just is formidable. It's just
really solid, I think. It's a purely defensive perspective,
That's a Hearts defence, a big, strong, physical, robust defence. Don't mind that. You talk through the rest of your 11, and then I'll say mine, and then I'll bring in some of the guys in the comments.
Right. So I guess for my midfield three, then I had Devlin, Benny, and Danda. Not entirely sure about the shape, to be honest. Obviously, we could have Benny in the six, Devlin in that centre mid role, then Danda playing in that kind of playmaker role. We saw the likes of Josh Grant playing in a lot last season. You could kind of do that. Or you can also just have obviously just Benny and Devlin both sitting, as if we did really effectively under Nielsen. Then you've got Danda in that number 10 position up ahead. So I think those three are probably the best. Well, probably my favourite three pound for pound midfielders.
Yeah, because I was going to say that you're a big Cammy Devlin fan, because that's where surprised if the lack of Hoff.
Exactly, that's the thing. I do feel bad. I do like me some. I do enjoy Cam Newton Hoff as well. There's a couple of other players that I'm sure we're going to talk about later on in this that I'm really excited to see more of this season.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I do think. Again, it goes on again, just underlines that kind of wealth of options that Naismith's got. I genuinely think there's probably 5, maybe 6 guys playing in that kind of central midfield area that could credibly say, I should be starting pretty much every week. And you look at them and go, yeah, very good. Yeah, fair enough. So I think there's that. And then for my front three, I had Vargas on the right-hand side. I wouldn't mind seeing him more on the left, though, coming this season. I feel like there's maybe a bit of, it could maybe make a wee bit more of an impact there, but that's just me. And then I also had Forrest on the other side, and then Shankland up top. Kill surprise. So that was the one I went for. But like I say, I noticed that particularly going in the kind of forward areas, I noticed that I've not really got any of the new players, any new signings, which I thought was kind of mildly interesting, I suppose. I don't know. So what have you went for?
So because I've seen Craig sent his in and Tom sent his in as well, and I just glanced at Tom's. Tom's he's been very smart. He's given me one as a back three and a back four. So I kind of did the same route.
That's cheating.
I know. So I will settle on one, and but I just wanted to. So I did. So I wrote out a back four, and I wrote out a one with a back three, and there's eight players are in the same. 8 players are in both 11s. So that was Clark, Kent, Kingsley, Taylor, Benny, Hoff, Shankland, and Vargas.
Okay, yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah.
So again, only one new.
That's just Taylor then.
Just Taylor, yeah. So I really like the back three. I don't know. If it's. I just think the back three gets the best out of a lot of the defenders, but at the same time, you're like, my concern with the back three is when things are not going great, it looks more like a back five, and especially when you've the like full backs who. The good thing now, I think I think Cochrane was fine with it, but Penrice and Taylor, I think they're more I think probably more wing backs than they are full backs, so that fits into that side of things. But I'll go, since we've kind of been talking the back four, mine was so Clark, Taylor, Kent, Kingsley, and I'm going to change this because I actually had Taylor, Kent, Kingsley, and Rowles in a back four, just in the mindset of that's what I think maybe Naismith would do. But for me, I like the look of. I'm going to go for the same back four you went for, just because I liked the look of 3 of them against Spurs and the thought of Kingsley in it. So shift Kingsley to left back, and then you have Oyegoki and Kent in the middle. In the midfield, I went for, when it's a midfield 3, I went for kind of like if it was a 4-2-3-1, I went for Benny and the Hoff as the 2 sitting, Spittle in there as well, with Mackay, Shankland, and Vargas as the front 3. But then it depends on the opposition as well, because there's certain games where I would play home at Motherwell, more comfortable playing. I would like James Penrice at left back because he's got great stamina. He gets up and down the line really well as a full back. Then I would have Danda in ahead of Spittle because I probably think Danda's a bit more for a creator. And then you would have Spittle, who could play, if we're playing against Old Firm or in a derby, where you probably want a bit more legs in the midfield, a bit more kind of defensive nous in the midfield that you'd want name. And then the Barry Mackay, I would only play him certain games, and then I would again like those.
Are you playing him in the big ones?
So the ones where you're wanting guys to Naismith's like, I want you to do a job, you just do it. I would bring Forrest in, and they have Forrest, Vargas, and Shankland like you. So yeah, like Liam says, it changes every few minutes. It's really, really difficult to pick. But I think the fact that I've got looking at the 2 11s, that there's 8 or 9 players there that would probably be in both of the 11s. So at least you've got a really good core to kind of build around and then drop in and out. I was would like to get Grant in there somewhere, but I just think he could be just this. kind of shape-shifting midfielder, where depending which job he needs, or if he comes off the bench, because he's seen how effective he was off the bench last season as well. So yeah, it's there's so much choice.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. I think no matter what way you pick your team here, like you said, there's always somebody really good missing out. Like you said, I've not got. I'm missing out on the half. And it breaks my heart. But I'm missing out on them anyway. You've not got Devlin in your team, or
I really like Devlin.
Miss a drama. He's not even got a mention yet in either team, so maybe he's going to be great. So yeah, I think again that kind of goes back to what we've been mainly talking about. It's a really strong squad in terms of, I think, if you take one player out, if somebody has to drop out because they're tired or whatever, it's too many games, and you take somebody out, put somebody else in, I don't think there's like a drop off in quality. I don't think there's much. I think there's like we've been saying, there's a big group of about 18, 20 players or so, probably all in, that are all more than capable of playing, and there's probably, ability-wise, there's probably not loads between them all. So I think, like we've kind of been getting at, it's like the overall quality of the squad is like really risen, but without perhaps having that, those superstars coming in the starting 11 and really kind of elevating the team like that. So I think that's what's happening here, but we won't really know until we get going, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's when I came into, when I was talked about being excited for the season but intrigued by the season. That's what intrigues me, is just how it's going to work with the squad, and how Nason's going to manage it, and how he changes it from game to game. Yeah, because it's difficult. So I'll read out some of the guys who have commented. So Liam L says he's went for Gordon, Oyegoke, Kent, Kingsley in a back three, Taylor, Benny, Danda, Grant, and Penrice as the five-man midfield. I do like that. I do like that midfield, especially midfield three, especially at certain home games. And Shanklin and Vargas up front. Graham goes with a 4-2-3-1. Clark, Taylor, Kent, Kingsley, Penrice, Benny, Hoff, Danda, Spittle, Vargas, Shankland. Don't mind that either. Don't mind this. Alexander Taylor says Gordon, Taylor, Kingsley. Trying to work out what the.
I think we missed a player there.
I think
we must be missing Kent.
Forgot to add Kent beside Kingsley. So it was Gordon, Taylor, Kent, Kingsley, Penrice, Benny, Hoff, Forrest, Danda, Vargas, Shankland. If we have to change to 5-3-2, Gordon, Taylor, Oyegoke, Kent, Kingsley, Penrice, Benny, Hoff, Danda, Vargas, Shankland. That was quite similar, or bang on to my back five, or 3-1. And Liam says, guess it's a positive when none of us can decide on a set 11. Probably is. And that's like, it keeps the opposition. If I was Philip Clement, I was like, I've no idea what Hearts are going to do. I honestly, how am I meant to prepare for this? Just mark Shankland. That's just do that and hope for the best. So it's going to be fascinating to see what the starting 11 against Rangers is. Obviously, I think I'm going to preview the game on Friday with Scott, and at the moment, I think the issue with all these best 11s or strongest 11, Benny and the Hoff are not available against Rangers, so he's going to have to do something. Obviously, we've got Malachi Boateng potentially coming in on either today or tomorrow, and he hopefully could be available. Paul asked, what about the team for Saturday? Paul, I am stressed out just dealing with this strongest 11, so we'll discuss the team on Friday's episode. As Graham says, if Boateng signs as well, that's another option. Before we finish, we will do our predictions for this season. So I have looking for league finish, cup performances, European performance, player of the season, signing of the season, surprise of the season, bold prediction, and most looking forward to. So we'll just rattle through these quickly. So James, I'll bring Jim Ogg in here because he says, we'll see if James sticks to his Hearts will finish second call from last night as he played to the audience. Where are Hearts finishing next season?
I might have got a bit carried away. I'm going to shamefully climb down from my position. I'm going to go first down. I was thinking about it more this morning. I was looking at the table and stuff, and I was like, Rangers did finish 17 points ahead last season. That's quite a lot. That's quite a big gap to make up. And don't get me wrong, like I said earlier, I think Hearts, we'll get more than they did, and it wouldn't surprise me if Rangers performed worse this time around. But yeah, I might have got a wee bit carried away there. Second, I got a bit much.
Jim says, absolutely covered.
He's absolutely right. He's absolutely
right. Yeah, I agree. Third place. So what about cup performances? Because this is a difficult one. I'm kind of reluctant to put in because just who knows with the draw. It's impossible to predict. So for me, I think we might struggle Premier Sports Cup just because of Europe and Scottish Cup. Let's say semi-final.
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of wished out on this one. I've basically just said like until Hearts are drawn against the Old Firm. That's kind of how I believe, to be honest. Yeah. Like, again, like, maybe it's a quarter final, maybe it's the final. Yeah. And the other thing I point out is if I think if Hearts didn't have to face either of the Old Firm, which is rare but happens, I think Hearts could easily go and win either cup. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, let's be honest, history's not on Hearts' side here. I think that that's usually where these cup runs to come to an end. So I'm going to have to go for that, I'm afraid.
European performance, how do you think we'll do in Europe?
So I've went for in the Conference League, I think Hearts can get to the playoff round before the last 16. So like there's a little round in between the league phase and the last 16, and I think that's where they go. So basically, there's 36 teams in the Conference League.
Yep.
The top 8, they're all through at the last 16 straight away.
Yep.
Then the following 8 play the next 8 after that, and then the bottom 8 are just eliminated, gone.
Yeah.
So I think that I guess that's where I think I could see Hearts getting in. I think that I could see them. The way I'm looking at it, I think 8 or 9 points seems perfect. That seems more than enough to get to qualify for this next stage. Looking at it, I think Hearts are more than capable of that. Yeah. So I think breaking to the knockout round. At that point, you probably play a higher team, like somebody's performed better than you. At that point, that's maybe the dream over, but it'd still be exciting. So yeah, that's what I went for.
Yeah, I've went for the exact same, and just to play in a knockout, like a proper, I'll say a proper knockout game. It's
a proper knockout game.
Yeah. Just after Christmas would be class. So yeah, like you, I think just drop it in Conference League and pick up enough points to get into the playoff knockout round. Player of the season?
Yeah, Lawrence Shankland.
I've changed from this. I did have Frankie. I was in my head. It was Frankie Kent, but I'm going for Kenneth Vargas. I think he's going to have a real exciting season. It's also because the way Andy Webster talked about him last night, I was like, I'm really excited now. Signing of the season?
I think it's going to be Gerald Taylor.
Yeah.
Again, we spoke about this last night, but I've just been really impressed from what I've seen from him. Kind of watching him playing back in Costa Rica. I think I've really liked what I saw from the wee glimpses we have seen. Particularly against Spurs, I thought he had a really good game. And I just think that in terms, when you look at how much he's achieved in such a short space of time, winning his move to one of the biggest teams in Costa Rica, winning the league there, becoming a full international, getting his move to Europe, he seems like he's on this really steep upward trajectory. And I think as well, just watching him when his aggression, his pace, his physicality, like those are all things that will get you far into it. They'll get you very far. So yeah, I think he can hit the ground running, and I think he can also improve a lot as well.
Yep, I've already like half an hour into the Spurs game, I tweeted out that he's going to be signing of the season, so I'm going to stick with that. Surprise of the season. So I've gone for Finlay Pollock will make a claim for the right wing position. This was after his performance against East Stirlingshire. I know it's East Stirlingshire in the B team, but he is a player who is very, very highly rated by the management team, and he's quick. He's really, really quick. So yeah, that's my surprise of the season.
Oh, that's a good one. Mine's kind of along a similar vein. I've just went. I think Macaulay Tate's going to make it I think he'll get more minutes this season than he did last season. Because I just think from what he did last season, I think there was clear. His promise was really clear to see. The potential was there. He's been pretty well involved during pre-season in these matches, getting used to the first team. And I think the only thing that's holding him back is, as we've spoken about a lot already, there's a lot of players playing central midfield that will want to play. A lot of new players as well coming into the team, like Spetto, Danda, Boateng. So there's going to be a hell of a lot of competition, but even despite that, I still think he can kick on a bit more this season. I don't think it's going to be starting every week or anything like that, but I do think that even compared to the season just there, I think he'll get more minutes, play more football, have a bigger role. So I'm going to go for Tate there.
And what about your bold prediction?
I've went for Hearts will win a league game at Ibrox.
Oh, I was wondering why you were asking me about our record. Wonder why you messaged me about that.
Yeah, because I was like, I knew it'd been a while. Reliably informed it was 2012. Is that right?
2012 in the top flight.
In the top flight, yeah. So let's we're gonna go over that. That's too long. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I know it's hard. It's difficult, of course it is, but the Hearts should be doing better than that. And I think that this could well be the year where that happens. The one thing I would say is that of all the teams in the league last season, Rangers were the Hearts' bogey team. I think it's fair to say. They struggled more against Rangers than anything else. But I think the Hearts are on this upward trajectory at the moment. I can see Rangers having a difficult season, and I think that this could finally be the year I get to celebrate a win in Govan.
Well, let's hope you're definitely right. My bold prediction is an English club or clubs will make an approach for Stephen Naismith at some point during the season, but he will turn it down just because I think he's if we start well, do well in Europe, because of his name and what he did in England, I think he would attract interest for teams who, because you know what it's like in England, people, the clubs change managers all the time, and then they will look and see the job he's doing here. So yeah, that's my bold prediction.
Yeah, I mean, because there was points at last season where you thought that it wouldn't have been the craziest thing to see that happen. I guess part of it's just the fact that he's still a relatively young coach, and inexperienced in that sense. But at the same time, I think you're right. I mean, if the Hearts if he keeps doing what he's doing at Hearts, keep this, really solidifying that third place, looking up towards second, competing in Europe, going deep in the cups. Eventually, of course, it's going to attract interest from elsewhere. But yeah, like you, I think it need to be a very, very good offer for Naismith to go anywhere else, just because I think this is just a situation just now that just suits everyone. I think everyone's enjoying it and it's suiting everyone. So yeah, I think I could go with that. I think I could see that happening.
And finally, most looking forward to
the European campaign.
Yeah, I think that's
that just because obviously there's the away days and all that kind of stuff, of course. But I think last season as well. Okay, there was Rosenborg at home was a great, good result, great performance, all the rest of it. The other three games, not great, and that came at a time when Hearts were slotted champs. It wasn't. That was probably the poorest Hearts were all season. Was that early stage of the campaign? But this time it's going to be stretched out. It's going to be European football up until Christmas time, perhaps even beyond. I'm interested to see how they just measure themselves against these other teams in the continent. Because I think that Hearts are better than they gave account than they showed. I think they're better than they showed last season. I'm still not quite sure how good then, because it's difficult to. Within the context of Scottish football, you can say, okay, they're not quite as good as Celtic or Rangers. Okay, they're better than everyone else. But what's that actually mean? So I think it's only in Europe where you can actually see, all right, that's where Hearts are. That's the level. Because I think right now that's a little bit up in the air. So I'm hoping to get an answer to that question over the next few months, and hopefully it's a good one as well.
Yeah, no, that's a brilliant answer, because you go back to the Fiorentina and Istanbul, Basel here, where there's a massive gulf, especially games at Tynecastle between the sides. I've similar vein. I've gone for most looking forward to is Monday, and just the excitement of the Europa League playoff draw. Even if they have, there's a very good chance that it'll be Hearts will play, and then it'll be two teams. It'll be the winners of X and Y in their ties. So we probably won't have anything definitive. If we do have definitive, it means we've maybe drawn somewhere like Anderlecht, which would be cool as well. We will leave it there because I need to go and get ready for a wedding I am attending this evening. So James, thank you very much for coming on, and also for all your efforts, because this won't be your last video, but this would be your last video officially as a member of Hearts Standard. So
I'll be getting roped in every now and again, though.
Yeah, sure. Definitely.
You'll get rid of me that easily.
Yeah, absolutely. You will be getting messages from time to time that please come on a video, and so we could hear your thoughts. But yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone, for engaging, contributing, subscribing, etc., etc. We'll have plenty of content going up over the next couple of days. Looking ahead to the start of the season, there's just a piece that's gone up a half an hour ago, looking at the 5 key areas of kind of competition. Some of the looking at that competition that is in the squad, and Craig Fowler picked out 5 key areas, so do go out and check that. We'll be back on Friday, hopefully, with Scott McIntosh to preview the Rangers game. And just before I go, Liam L asks, will the likes of Pollock have to be named for Europe to meet the numbers of homegrown? No, because of his age, he'll be able to go on the list, no problem at all. So yes, thank you very much, everyone, and have a good evening. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.